Good morning, Big Brother fans. It's been a late night. It's an early morning, and it is day 46, August 22nd, a Friday in the Big Brother house. And we've got lots to talk about. I have notes. We're going to try to keep on point and get you through this stuff without me getting too incredibly sidetracked. So, where do we start? Do we start right with the bullet points? Or do we walk you through it in slow motion and get you to all the exciting steps in a storytelling fashion? I think today we're going to do the bullet points and then we're going to go back and pick it apart. All right? I'll save some of you that are in a hurry and don't want to listen to me talk for 15, 20 minutes. What happened? All right, here's the bullet points for you and then the exciting storytelling by me in a second, okay? Battle of the Block. Mickey won the Battle of the Block. The vote. This is the all-important who got evicted because it was between Morgan and Riley. Riley got evicted. Riley's evicted. We move on to the head of household competition. It was indeed The Wall. It was indeed streamed. And the winner of the Wall competition was Vinny. Vinny won the Wall. Vinny is now the head of household. So there you go. There's your quick little tiny recap, and now we're going to go back and pull that all apart. Hope I didn't spoil all the excitement for too many of you. I have a feeling most of you already knew all of that. A few of you that didn't may be happy to know it right now before I go into the detail. All right, here's the details. Let's rewind now and go back and talk about the Battle of the Block. The Battle of the Block was the ball rolling competition where there's a very long, narrow rail, in essence. In this case, it had a few curves to it, and you had to roll a ball. You had 2 minutes to roll the ball as far down the length of the board that you could. The further you got it, the higher number score, your ball would fall off the side and fall into a slot, and there was scores. Up to, I think, 40 was the highest number. And Julie did a test run yesterday afternoon. Julie scored a 20 in about a minute, I think. When the three house guests lined up to do it, it was Morgan, Mickey, and Riley. The camera work was horrible, let me just say that, because it was very important to see where they were getting, and they would zoom in on one, and we couldn't see what the others were doing, which became very important. And as it turned out, Riley actually started getting it the furthest. He got it to 29, and it sat there, and he just looked at it, because they had the opportunity. You could take as many runs as you wanted, and as many tries as you wanted. You could only keep your last shot, right? Your last one was the one you had to lock in, and by pushing a button. So Riley hit a 29. That was by far further than anybody else had been getting it, and he just kind of stood there and watched it, which made sense. Stand there and watch it up until 2 minutes before you see if anybody beats you, and then if they do, you quickly pick it up and go try to do further. Well, Morgan and Mickey are still going. They're on opposite sides of him. Camera zooms in on Mickey. She gets it going. It's going long, and you hear the crowd get excited because the camera is zoomed in on that shot. It goes in. It falls off. It is 29 as well. But Morgan runs back and locks hers in, whereas Riley had not locked his in. Now, I'm assuming that the first to lock in is the first one that mattered. So right then, Riley's out of it, right? He's going to be second place. He needs to pull it up and try to beat Morgan's length now. But when the camera zoomed back out, Mickey is standing at her podium. She's punched her button, and you can see the ball is all the way down at the end of hers. She has a 38. We didn't see Mickey's shot. While the camera was zoomed in on Morgan's shot, which just tied Riley's, Mickey made a shot that went all the way to the end. We'll see it on Sunday's show, I'm sure, but kind of annoying that we did not get to see Mickey actually with her winning shot. All right, so that happened. Battle of the Block, Mickey won it. The worst case scenario for a lot of people who wanted it to really be Mickey versus Riley. But in other cases, well, it forced hands, right? Vinny did not want it to be Mickey versus Riley, or Morgan versus Riley, because he had promised both of them that he was keeping them. And so we knew this was going to force Vinny's hand, and it certainly did, right? So they come back inside. Julie announces the winner. It's a hushed crowd, whispering. Vinny goes immediately to Ava and starts talking to her. I have not gone back and watched the whispered conversations. I'm sure if I crank the volume up, I can hear some of it. But Rachel stuck her head in there, and I heard her say something like, "You have to." And you know that Rachel was pushing for Ava to vote out Riley. So that all's going on. Riley sat down. I think Morgan sat down too. I'm not sure what Mickey was doing. Well, she didn't matter. She was a voting member now. Also saw Vinny talk to Keanu, and it was pretty apparent that Keanu wasn't having any of it. I think someone told me that Keanu said, I think Vinny tried to tell Keanu that, what was it? Oh, he said somebody, that I think he was trying to say that Mickey was trying to throw Keanu under the bus. I think is what he was trying to get him to, or not Mickey, Riley was trying to throw Keanu under the bus. No, Riley was trying to throw Keanu under the bus. That's what Vinny was saying. He was trying to turn Keanu on Riley, but Keanu wasn't having anything of it. So they cut to the votes. The first two, they do their pleas, by the way, and it was, whatever. They're begging. Riley was, very, very, tough, like, I just do whatever you got to do. And Morgan was teary-eyed, yeah. They bring in the votes. What was it? Mickey was the first vote. Mickey voted to evict Riley, which was kind of expected. And although some people say that she wasn't going to, but she did. Either way. And then Catherine was the other vote, which, of course, she's going to vote to evict Morgan. So you had a 1-to-1 vote. They go to commercial. They come back from commercial. The first person back from commercial is Vinny sitting in the diary room. So Vinny's sitting in the diary room to vote. Vinny votes, very long, exasperated, very stressed, and he votes to evict, drum roll, I've already told you, Riley. Okay, that's the first tip. We're kind of like, okay, I cannot give you all the vote counts. I can't even give you the order. Ava was the other major one. When Ava went in to vote, and she, after lots of pauses and hemming and hawing, voted to evict Riley, was like, okay, that's it. Those two votes were ones we thought might go to evict Morgan. So they both vote to evict Riley. The other votes went as expected. There were 4 votes to keep Riley. It was Keanu, Catherine, Lauren, and Kelly. Those are your 4 votes to keep Riley, to evict Morgan. So those are your 4. All the other votes went to evict Riley. He's evicted 5-4. There was shock, of course. He seemed a bit blindsided, but he put on a decent face. Lots of crying from Catherine. And Riley eventually heads out the door, talks to Julie, blames himself, won't blame anybody else. So he did say that Rachel was involved a lot in meddling, but in the end, when Julie said, whose fault is it? He says, I should have won the battle of the blockbuster, and I didn't, so it's my fault. He was good. She asked about Catherine. He said nice things. I don't know. It is what it is. Off he goes. They bring come back from commercial. They bring out Taylor and Derek to talk about Blockbuster, because it's on Sunday. It isn't on tonight. It's on Sunday, and it's a power Big Brother lineup. And they announced that they're going to do the wall. Okay, good. All right, we're doing the wall competition. Awesome. So the wall competition is going to happen. Julie does not say it's going to be on the feeds immediately. In the end, she said it was going to be on the feeds. That's good. They also brought out their secret guest host for Sunday's show, and it is Boston Rob. So Boston Rob will be hosting Unlocked along with Taylor and Derek. So that's a big get for them. He joked about being on Big Brother. They joked about it. There's been jokes this week about winners being a winner's season. They joked about Boston Rob being on Celebrity. Who knows if any of this will come to fruition? But it's been talked about. It's in the air, just so you guys are aware. There is talk about an all-winner season. There's talk about maybe Boston Rob on a Celebrity season. Those kind of things. I'll believe it when it happens, right? Not that it won't, but we'll see. So Boston Rob was on. Julie did announce at the end of the show that the wall would be on the feeds. We were excited about that, which to me meant I expected, I kind of almost hoped, because I really didn't want to deal with it immediately, I needed a break, that they would show it after the West Coast airing, which they did. I don't remember exactly what time the show came on. It may have been 12:30ish a.m. Eastern time, but the feeds came on with them on the wall. They had not started yet. They were, I mean, it was, if they had started, it had only been a minute or two. So Rachel's dressed as a conductor. It's like the Midnight on the Orient Express. It's a train. They're on the side of a train on a trestle, right? So the train is going around curves, leaning out. That's the idea, is that it's not moving, but it's supposed to be on the side of a train car. They're holding on to wooden slats that are covering windows. That's their hand grips. They had multiple different ways they can hold their hands. Don't know what the specific rules were on that, but that's the basics of it. The train would occasionally lean out. It had 3 different splatters. They got splattered with green, that was supposed to be the Loch Ness Monster sneezing. They got splattered with blue, which was supposed to be blueberries from local townsfolk that didn't like the train coming through their town. And they got splattered by pink, which was supposed to be pink flamingos that they hit on the track because they didn't get off the track. Thank you to Big Brother Network for telling me what that comment was, because I didn't hear it. Those were the splatters. They also got doused with rain, lots of rain, and they had fire extinguishers behind them, splatting or shooting out what they were calling steam, saying there was steam showers that would shoot out and fog up the whole scene. They did that. So the cold rain was the worst of it for them. They liked the goo. They said it was warm, and the rain was the worst part, I think, and the leaning, of course. All right, so you have the wall competition going on. Can you tell I'm trying to fly through this, because I really am. There's a lot, and I'm trying to get through it without getting too sidetracked. The wall competition lasted, I think it lasted about an hour and a half. I'm not even sure, and I don't particularly care. I came to the conclusion last night that, you know what, I don't need a 6-hour competition. We'll just call it an hour and a half. It's fine. They put those house guests through enough with the wall leaning, all the splattering, all the crap that goes on. I'm not thinking I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, how can they not do it? It's harder than it used to be when they would not tip them as much. It's just harder. Just the amount they put them through makes it as difficult, even though it's shorter. And I got to go to bed at a semi-decent time. So the wall order, Will or Ashley were the first 2 out. We're not sure. We didn't see it. They cut the feeds. Will was like, I can't feel my back, as they cut the feeds. So let's assume that Will was the first out. Doesn't really matter. Feeds went down. They came back. Will and Ashley were out. And then the rest of them we saw go out. And this is the order. I'm really not trying. There was not much talking going on. Kelly was a bit of a psycho, yelling and screaming and saying she was having a good time. Everybody else was fairly quiet. But the order they went out were Morgan, Mickey, Ava, Kelly, Keanu, Lauren. So it came down to just one. Let's go back for a second. So at one point, after Ava went out, it was down to everybody that voted to evict Morgan and Vinny. Vinny was the only one on the wall that had left that had voted to evict Riley. So it was like, oh wow, if Vinny goes out, then this whole side of the house that just voted out Riley is going to be in some serious doo-doo, right? Which is fine. That's Big Brother. Rachel had to be panicking. But as you now know, since I already told you, Vinny ends up winning. But the order then, as I said, Ava went out, then Kelly, then Keanu, then Lauren, and then it was down to Catherine and Vinny. When it was down to Catherine and Vinny was started to try to talk with Catherine, and I think Catherine said something like, why did you wait to talk to me now? And he's like, well, I was trying to give you your space or whatever. It was what it was. Catherine wasn't interested in talking, and Vinny was just like, okay, well, let me know if you are. And then that was the last time they talked, and it didn't take much longer before Catherine lost her grip, and fell off, and Vinny was the head of household. So there you go. I don't know the total time, but Vinny won it. He never seemed to struggle terribly. I don't recall. I don't think he slipped. There was one slip that I think Toombs caught, that somebody's foot slipped, but I think that was Ava, I think. And there was a few other, awkwardness. The way that Morgan fell was awkward. Both Lauren and Kelly did some hanging, and Kiana, they did some interesting stretching. Those will all be shown possibly on Sunday's show. There's actually several accounts on Blue Sky that posted almost the entire wall competition in segments. I posted a lot of them. I posted almost every one of the drops. I think the only drop I didn't post was Lauren, and I recorded it. I just never got it posted because so much was going on at that moment as the wall was wrapping up. So if you're on Blue Sky, and I'm sure it's happening elsewhere on Twitter and everything too, people are posting all kinds of videos, and it doesn't seem to be there's any CBS isn't making them take them down, unless maybe YouTube. I tried posting to YouTube earlier this year as a test, and my videos got taken down, and I decided not to risk it. So that is that. So that's about where I checked out. I mean, I stayed up a little bit later. The feeds did come back, but I didn't spend too much time watching them after that. They spent a lot of time drying off, warming up, lots of shivering going on. We did find out the have-nots. There are have-nots this week, maybe the last week of have-nots, since they haven't done it. This is the 7th week, and this is only the 4th week they've done have-nots, and there are 3 have-nots. First 3 off the wall, so it is Will, Ashley, and Morgan are the have-nots. What else? All right, now we're down to the ending bits, which is good. These are things that happened after I went to bed. Vinny did his head of household reveal. Everyone, a lot of fans, God bless you, stayed up late to watch. They wanted to see the discussion. They wanted to see who Vinny was going to target or who might go, and he really didn't have much of a discussion with anybody in the end. They went up to the head of household room. Vinny got it, and Taylor, not Taylor from the Big Brother, but Taylor from Blue Sky, who's a big fan. He actually posted the eviction, the order that they left the head of household room with Vinny in there. I thought, well, this isn't the wall competition. Why? Lauren went out. Wait, what? Catherine was the first out? No, that's wrong. So it was. He posted the order that they left the room to go to bed, and I think they were all hoping, they wanted to see who Vinny was going to talk to, and Mickey ended up being the one to outlast everybody. So there was no real game talk with Vinny. And a lot of people were very disappointed. And then, and this is just within the last hour-ish, Morgan snuck back up to talk to Vinny. Part of what she talked about was how she was disappointed in how she did on the wall. But they also did end up talking about nominations. Vinny may have done a little bit of cam talking before Morgan showed up. But I guess for Vinny, and we all were thinking it, Nikki is the obvious nomination because he knows the whole house most of the house was planning on getting out Nikki, right? She was not supposed to win the battle, the blockbuster. She would have probably been gone, and Riley's still in the house if she hadn't won the blockbuster. So he and Morgan talked a little bit about nominations. Vinny was throwing out ideas. I think one that he wanted to put up was Ashley, and Morgan kept shooting it down as an option. He named people that he wasn't going to put up, and honestly, I didn't write that stuff down. I know that he said he didn't want to put up Keanu, he didn't want to put up Lauren. He didn't rule out Rachel as a possibility, but a lot of people, including myself, would speculate that he may put up Kelly, because Kelly likes to volunteer for this stuff, so they can talk her into it. And Mickey, obviously. And so it's almost like, well, who's the third nominee going to be? Is it going to be Catherine? Is it going to be Rachel? We don't know. I think the most logical will be Catherine, Kelly, and Mickey. But we'll have to see. And that is where things are mostly at. One other thing that came out right as I was actually walking out my door to head to work, there are currently no plans for interviews, at least not right now. Interviews with Riley have been delayed or canceled or whatever. So Mike Bloom, who is the journalist who writes for Parade Magazine, who is also a huge Big Brother fan, so he's in the community as well as being an actual journalist, kind of like Sharon. Sharon and Mike Bloom, Sharon Tharp and Mike Bloom are the two journalists that are actually hardcore fans too, at least, and are in the community very heavily. And I haven't heard from Sharon yet, but Mike Bloom reported that there wasn't going to be interviews. So we don't know what's going on. We don't know if Riley has refused to do interviews or if CBS has decided we're not going to do this. I know that the Rob Has a Podcast crew had posted / tweeted that they were going to give they implied they were going to give a really hard-hitting post-eviction interview, because they are ones that also get to do the interviews with the evicted house guests. And so I'm wondering if CBS decided, yeah, we're not doing this. Some others are also speculating that Riley got wind of how bad things might be for him and he's refusing. I would guess that CBS is the one that's made the decision to not put him in that situation and not embarrass them either. So, yeah, that's what's what. You are now caught up. We will see what happens today. Obviously, the house guests will get to sleep in extra late because they were up late. So the house guests will get to sleep in late. And we've now arrived in the traffic section of my day, where things are busier and I have to pay attention a little bit better than I do when I'm on a big highway. There's going to be lots of conversations today, lots of stuff going on. Lots of retells, lots of all kinds of stuff. And in the end, Vinny's going to make his nominations, and I don't know if I'll talk to you guys this afternoon. I'll probably try to do something before Monday. I know that some of you are disappointed that I don't do every single day of the week, but there are days where I'm just like mentally checked out. And there goes a fire truck. So I'll check in either later today and or this weekend and let you guys know what goes on as far as nominations and power veto. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you so much, patrons. I appreciate you. And I hope you guys have a pleasant Friday. I will have a good Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. And we'll talk to you all later today or this weekend. Or both. You never know. Be well, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.